Hello friends, welcome back. In this tutorial we are going to study about data link layer. The data link layer is the second layer of the OSI model. It is below the network layer and it is above the physical layer, right? So what happens, this data link layer, it is responsible for moving frames from one node to the next, right? Now let us see what is the functionality of this data link layer. So one of the function of a data link layer is framing, right? So what happens, this data link layer, it divides the stream of bits which are received from the network layer into manageable data units which are called frames, right? Another functionality of a data link layer is flow control. Now what happens if the receiver is slower than sender? In other words, it means that if the rate at which data are produced by the sender is more than the rate at which data are absorbed by the receiver, then in that case the data link layer imposes a flow control mechanism to avoid overwhelming the receiver, right? This is the another functionality of data link layer. Another responsibility of data link layer is access control. So what happens in this case? What happens when two or more devices are connected to the same link? Then data link protocols are necessary to determine which device has control over the link at any given time, right? So what happens in this case? In this case, when two or more devices are connected to the same link, then data link layer protocols, they determine which device has control over the data link layer at any given time. Now see what happens, the another functionality of a data link layer is error control. So what happens, this data link layer adds reliability to the physical layer, right? Now how it adds reliability to the physical layer? It adds reliability to the physical layer by providing a mechanism to detect damaged or lost frames and retransmit them, right? It provides a mechanism for detecting damaged and lost frames and then retransmitting them. It provides a mechanism for that, right? So it also uses a mechanism to recognize duplicate frames. So in this way it provides error control. In this way it adds reliability to the physical layer. Another functionality of data link layer is physical addressing, right? So how this physical addressing is done, that we will study in separate tutorial later, right? We will study in detail how this framing, flow control and this error control and access control is done by data link layer, but not now. Here in this tutorial I have given you only the introduction about the functionality of data link layer, right? We will study about these things in a separate tutorial in detail, right? Now let us see an example, right? So let us see this example. This example will clear how node to node delivery is done by data link layer, right? So what happens, suppose data is to be sent from node A to node F, right? You can see here in this diagram, this is node A and this is node F, and data has to be sent from node A to node F, right? So the communication at the data link layer occurs between two adjacent nodes. So to send data from node A to node F, three partial deliveries are made, right? So what happened? First of all, the data link layer of node A sends a frame to the data link layer at node B, right? And this frame will have B as the destination address and A as the source address, right? Then next second partial delivery is that the data link layer at node B sends a new frame to the data link layer at node E, right? And this frame has E as the destination address and B as the source address, right? And at last the data link layer at node E sends a new frame to data link layer at node F, right? And this frame will have F as the destination address and E as the source address, right? This is the way how node to node delivery is done by the data link layer, right? Communication at the data link layer occurs between two adjacent nodes, right?